Yeah. Mm.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. Respected Director Sir Dr. Tapan Kumar Nayak, respected Professor Dr. Vartika Chaturvedi, and our speaker of the day, with the experience of more than 7 years in the past, he has worked in various domains in reputed organizations like Honda Cars India Limited as an assistant manager in IT infrastructure. He has done his bachelor's in technology from ITM University and master's in business administration from Indian School of Business, Delhi. He has also done his international immersion program in global business strategy from in University of Singapore. Currently, he is at a position he's a position which we have all dreamt of. He is a vice president in information technology for Extramarks Education Private Limited. It is my honor to introduce you to the new IT leader in EdTech industry, Mr. Jatin Agnihotri. I would like
Thanks
to
a lot, Rahul, for the introduction. Thank you
thank you,
so
sir.
much.
I would like Director sir to give him a welcome to Mr. Jatin Agnihotri.
Thank you, Rahul, for introducing
Thank you, sir.
the guest of the day, Mr. Jatin Agnihotri from Extramarks. At the outset, let me welcome Mr. Jatin. Thank you so much for being with us. You are here with us on board today, and to tell something very, very important to our students on the sector which is highly emerging these days. I think the attendance is being affected by the ongoing examinations. But my dear students, let me tell you that the learnings which you are going to get out of this particular session today from Mr. Jatin from Extramarks is going to supersede maybe the relaxation which you are on after the examinations. But I must tell you that the sector which we are here to discuss today, and from the mouth of Jatin, the IT leader in the Extramarks, the most sought after sector these days, we can say. My dear students, you must be hearing, you must be watching, you must be knowing that the edtech sector, which has been emerging like anything since last, the couple of years. I mean, since we have entered into this unprecedented pandemic, I think this is the sector which has emerged and which has taken the pain to innovate, to emerge, and to help to support all other sectors. In fact, and that to especially the education sector, that to the higher education sector. And today we have a person from the sector which is creating, a buzz, which is supporting whole lot of sectors. Maybe you take the example of, all other sectors. Take the example of IT, banking, tourism, anything, insurance. Okay, so I think the edtech sector has come out like anything, come out with an emerging hand to support, to guide the students of higher education sector. And I believe that today's session is going to help you a lot. So not taking much time, I would like to thank Mr. Jatin. I would also like to thank Dr. Vartika for bringing the talent on board today from a sector which we are almost discussing since a couple of months, that, to make the students understand the integrities of the job market being created by the edtech sector these days. So thank you so much. And I would also like to thank my faculty colleagues, those who are there in the session. And most important, I also would like to thank the students, because you are sparing your time at the midst of your examinations. But I'm sure, I guarantee you that the learnings which you will be getting from this particular session is not going to disappoint you, because you may be thinking of, I mean, from the corner of your heart, maybe from your mind, that the exams are on card. Monday, you'll have to write your examinations. But I think tomorrow is sufficient to prepare for it. This 1 hour is going to really enrich you on a particular sector which is creating a buzz in this world. So thank you so much. And with this, I would like to invite Jatin to initiate to start the session for this.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tapan, to set the stage and actually explain the importance and the growth trajectory of the edtech sector to the students. And it was really lovely hearing from you. So I will quickly share my screen and start with the deck, which I want to share today and some thoughts on that. So, hello, students, and so I guess my introduction is already covered, so which I thought I would start with. But thanks a lot. And apart from that, I want to actually. So, what I will be covering in this session is about extra marks, about the edtech industry, and what are the things required to actually get on board on a on a profile which actually is booming in the current edtech spree. So I will just share my screen. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. It is
Great,
visible.
great. So I will like to start with an AV.
Jatin, it's not audible, I think. Yeah, the audio.
Okay, the audio is not
No.
audible. Okay, just give me a minute.
Yes, now it is.
So I hope you guys like the AV. So this is kind of one of my favorite AVs which the marketing team has created with all the encouraging music and all the new things which Extra Marks is doing and the new identity and you must have noticed we've changed our logo and all of that. So uh, quickly I will run into the agenda. I would love to have questions at the end in between. Both are okay. You guys can raise your questions in between as well. And we will also have actually we will have the Q&A at the end of the deck as well. So feel free to stop me wherever you want and we can actually have questions. So I would love to have this session to be really interactive. So quickly I will move into the edtech space introduction. So edtech, as rightly said, so 3 billion is the size which is the current market scope. About we are planning to actually have the edtech size in the next 10 years raised to 30 billion, and about 140% over the past 14 months has been all the growth that has been driven by the edtech industry. So the growth is tremendous. Hiring spree, as you guys must have felt as well, so it has almost increased by 50 to 60% pre and post COVID times. So that is something I think that is really encouraging for students as well. who are passing out and are attending this lecture as well. So the industry has actually attracted almost $4 billion in the last 1 year alone. So the amount of attention, the amount of resources that are going into this industry is something which is tremendous. So I would rather say this is the right time to actually be in the edtech industry. Then online education offerings from classes 1 to 12th have been actually increased by 6.3 times from by 2024 from the base of 2021. So lot of current improvements, lot of growth in the last 2-3 years, as well as projected numbers are very promising. So this is one of the main reasons why we actually hear about the edtech industry a lot. So now I will quickly jump to the history of Extramarks. So I would say Extramarks has been in the edtech industry when the buzzword edtech wasn't there. So it was actually called education only. Edtech wasn't actually a buzzword that time. But since 2008, Extramarks has been the leader and the pioneer in the edtech industry. So that time, I'm 101% sure nobody must have heard this word by coming along as edtech. So, so why? How did Extramarks drive the the problem statement, and how they came along the solution? What were the problems that actually made Extramarks go into the edtech industry? So first of all, there were no resources for outside school help exist. So actually there was really, the tuition sector was actually very unorganized, and the resources available were limited over the internet as well. So this was one of the biggest problems. Not many could afford to attend the informal tuition segments, since the tuition actually, which we feel is a very a small part of our economy, but it is a huge number when we actually organize this sector. So tuitions is something which are thought to be actually a small player, but are collectively very huge. So there was it is rather very expensive. Those who could not afford were not getting anything extra. Same pedagogy was being followed at that of the school. So same thing that you learn in the school, you actually recap in the tuition. So there is no value add when it comes to tuitions, having redundant information at two locations. So there was a need to bring an alternative methodology to actually help the students to move from the normal traditional learning to conceptual learning and actually make it fun. So learning physics, or learning resistance, or learning any other such technical topics actually adds on to कि मैं यार use कहाँ करूँगा इसे. When you actually understand the applications, you actually get to know that okay, this, when I build this system, actually it is my this concept or thermodynamics or etc. is being used. So this is how we try to make education really fun, so students actually learn the application aspect as well of these concepts. So these are the few reasons which really felt that there is a need for a player to come in and actually change things and get things rolling for the Indian education system as well. So therein our founder and chairman came in, Mr. Atul Kulshrestha. So he actually took the complete platform of edtech, which is now known as edtech, and actually got things completely on the tech platform. So at the time when there were not many players, Extramarks was making different animations, different helped in the early stages of edtech. So vision and the mission of Extramarks, so to make a technology based education easy, interactive, and accessible for every learner through our solutions. So honestly, there are a lot of books, there are a lot of teachers, there are a lot of different means to learn, but it is very important that you actually catch what is you read, or you actually understand or comprehend what you actually see. So actually our aim is to create that topic very interesting, very knowledgeable, very application oriented, and then give it to our students, so that whenever they see in real life, they actually feel, okay, this is resistance, this is trigo, this is this topic, chemistry, so they actually relate to those things. So we are on a mission to make learning easy and fun for everyone. So introduction, I would like to introduce the whole company as well. So the foundation was laid down in 2007. We are a leading edtech organization and have been since almost 14 years in the business, and this is the 15th year running. So there are multiple offerings, be it K-12, be it JE, be it NEET. So live classes, little one for students of nursery and KG. So we've actually covered most of the learning spree of a student. Then there is, and we are actually expanding to different learning profiles as well. Then we also cover a learning ecosystem for schools and the students. So you learn using Extramarks in school. You actually come home, do the tuitions, do the sample papers, do the homework which the teacher has given, and use that same application to actually relate, to actually comprehend, to actually evaluate yourself on those topics. So, and obviously keeping pace with demand. So demand is huge, and we have a presence in more than 10,000 schools and 5 lakh plus teachers. So this number is, I guess, increasing every minute when we talk. So Extramarks combines the goodness of the learning app, live classes, to give you a seamless, wholesome learning experience. So we've actually tried to make the learning experience better in the tier 2, tier 3 cities as well, where internet connectivity is weak. So we try to actually build our tech platform such that there is no our platforms can actually work on low bandwidth as well. So we actually want to go into the roots of India and give our services to every student there and who needs it. So our business model. So Extramarks is an end-to-end complete learning solution. As I just explained, that from school to tuitions to students, it's a 360-degree platform. So same content can be used for teachers, can be used for students, can be used for evaluation, LMS, homeworks, and all of that. So the brand has been a leading player in B2B as well, with the vast network of schools and partnerships of 10,000 plus schools. And honestly, the presence in the B2B sector has actually helped Extramarks in its growth journey. So a school does not really trust education organization till the time it is 101% sure. And this is where we actually show how we get our trust from and where we get it. Extramarks' core business model is to integrate each step of learner's journey through complete learning solutions, both by enabling school as well as empower them in the comfort of their homes. So 360-degree learning is that you have the same content wherever you go, on the go, at home, at school, or maybe while you're traveling. So that makes it very seamless. Extramarks closely collaborates with various state governments to introduce backless concepts of learning in school. The brand has enabled state government schools such as NDMC, UP, etc. Use of ICT tools. So we have a huge network of B2G engagements as well, wherein the government schools actually are, going way ahead and, transforming their classes to smart learning classes. And Extramarks has been a very a big player in that area. So that is also an addition to our business model. So we are in B2B, we are in B2C, we are in B2G, and we have a presence globally as well. So as I just said, so we have a trust of 10,000 plus schools, 75,000 classes, trained by 1 lakh teachers, reached 9 million plus students, offices pan India in 40 cities, and actually cover all the states and union territories. And in the slide, you can see we have a trust of almost most of the big names in the schooling industry. So that's there. So the leading the edtech movement in schools globally, with offices in Singapore, Indonesia, South Africa, Ghana, and MENA. So we are present in not only in India but across the globe as well. So our global presence also adds on to our business numbers. So this is the team. So headed by Mr. Atul Kulshrestha, and our MD is Mr. Ritvik Kulshrestha. And then we have some great leaders who are actually working with us in different sectors. Mrs. Poonam, Mr. Venkat, who is the academic head, Swagata Roy, who is the CFO, Ashish Bansal, who is the head of HR, Puneet, who is the head of retail sales, and then Manish Chaudhary, who is the head of strategy. So working with Extramarks is not only about salaries, about sales, about different work roles which you work for, but we have a lot of additional benefits. So there are leaves, there are actually monthly accruals of all types of leaves, and then there is yearly encashment of earned leaves. So we have a very our organization is actually flexible when it comes to the working culture. So we believe, we trust the employees that they will be giving the best output basis what they have, and hence our leave policies are very flexible. Then the best part is that the food is always on the house. So you come, you don't have to carry your lunch or anything. You have all the meals available whenever you need, with the access of canteen. And good part is we've inaugurated our new office. I was telling Dr. Vartika also that day before yesterday, a full 14-story building has been inaugurated, and the infrastructure has been upgraded to the next level. So that's there. The working environment is really great. So do join us, and we would love to have you guys. But hiring which we do from Jaipuria is sales. And honestly, why sales? So is it actually worth going in, or is it actually, does it make sense to go into sales? Okay, so I'll show you different perspectives of that. So first of all, why sales? So the growth when it comes to the career opportunities is tremendous. So you actually have 6 months of good working, achieving the targets, etc., and you're actually being promoted. Whereas in other roles, it's obviously it takes time. But sales growth is like you're always on offense. You're not in the team defense. So obviously the top I would actually quote football, but the players who are in the front are actually hitting the goals, and that is what sales about. Then so awards and recognition is there. We invest a lot on the skill development of our sales team, because those are our frontline teams which actually work with our customers. And customers for every organization, be it edtech or any other industry, is the key. So we invest a lot on the skill development of our sales team. When it comes to commercials package, I have actually highlighted incentives, because incentives is something which comes in a huge number when it comes to the package. Salary plus incentives is sky is the limit. So the numbers you do is the numbers you get eventually. So people who love to earn money at the start of their career, and I think most of us do, sales is actually a tremendous or a amazing way to start with. And I would actually say that the learning how to sell is something which all of us in every aspect of our lives do, being in a job interview where you sell your skills, be it in a I would say in a conversation with any of your friends, you actually sell ideas or something of that sort. So this is a skill which is, although we actually neglect the skill, but it is something which we do always. So sales is something which we really are proud about. And then there is challenges of learning every day, because you meet different people, you meet different schools, you meet different teachers, you meet different areas of your work roles and different people in those areas. you actually learn, you actually groom, you actually see how things run in different areas, and you face different challenges to cope up initially and then overcome them. That shapes you as an individual. So it's not about the numbers only, but as personal growth, it is really great. You actually get groomed when you talk to 500 different people in a month, and you understand different mindsets, and you understand the market. And that is where sales comes in a, amazing role of learning and, overcoming these challenges. So what is required and what is expected to be uh, what is required and what is expected to be in a role like sales? So communication skills, that is the most important part. So I've actually striked out language, because communication skills does not mean that okay, I have to speak in English, or I have to have a certain flow of conversation, or maybe a different language. So when I talk about communication skills, it is about listening, it is about understanding the other person, being friendly, having an open mind, body language, confidence, feedback. So communication skills is not limited to any language. You can learn 5 different language, but can be poor in communication skills. So it's not limited to language, but is a lot more related to your listening, friendliness, open-mindedness, confidence, communication, body language. So that is something which we look forward when we interview any candidate. Then there is persuasiveness. So it's not about convincing people, it's about understanding what the customer or the other person wants, and then presenting your idea in that manner to get what you want and what is the best of others. And that blend of that will get you to actually persuade the other person. So this is a skill which is really, really important. And till the time you don't go into the shoes of the customer, you won't be able to sell anything. So just keep this in mind, this is very important. Self motivation. So there will be days where you actually have 10 10 activities and you fail in 9, or maybe 10 calls, but you get a no in 9 of them and only one turned up. But but there will be days actually where you have 10 activities and you actually score good in 7. So don't get demotivated. It's all about being self motivated, and actually it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You learn every day, you improve every day, you go and actually employ all those learnings every day in your life. And actually self motivation and positive mindset is really important, where we also look forward in a candidate. And this is something for this profile is very important. Energetic. Nobody wants to buy anything if from any person who is lousy or is low on energy or anything. But if you find a person who's actually very energetic, and so it really passes the energy from you to the customer, and the customer feels connected, and actually there is something which comes into the customer's ears as well. But a lousy nature, or a I would say nature which actually, or not nature I would say, but the activity or the conversation, if it's not energetic, then it actually has a negative role to play in the whole conversation. So these are the skills which we really expect in an individual. So now how do we support you in the whole process? So apart from having all these skills, having all those different skill sets and the communication and everything, we support you to actually understand our product. So if you don't know the product, you can't obviously sell it. You understand the product, then you understand because customers will be asking you 10 different questions, 100 different questions, but you should have a ready answer to most of the frequently asked questions. And this is where we come in. We actually give you the full download of the product so that you understand what is the custom, what are we actually selling, what are our positive points, what are our negative points, and how to actually overcome with that. So this actually this I would say product knowledge is more of a strategy. So when you are into sales, you not only strategize, not only sell products, but also strategize how to sell products. One idea can change the turnover of the organization to 2x or 3x. As simple as like having I remember this case wherein the toothpaste nozzle size was increased to actually double the sales. So a very small idea, but can only be known if you actually are connected to the product and how it is used. So product knowledge is where we actually help you. Then there is competitor knowledge. So actually we get to learn a lot from different competitors, and our frontline sales team actually has a network of their peers in different organizations, where we get a lot of information in terms of what is going on with the competition, how they are pitching their ideas, and actually learn and improve our processes. So competitor knowledge is again something which we help you with. Then industry training. So all of these can only be done if you are trained well enough to actually understand the product, competitor, the whole ecosystem, what is getting the feedback from the whole the education ecosystem, and actually we train you to grow to the next level. So this is how we plan to support you after in when you're working with us. So now I will actually move on to an AV. So I love the audio of this AV because this song is something I've heard almost 1,000 times, and actually I've started loving it. So I'll just play it for you guys as well. This is our new brand audio visual. सवाल बेबवाल क्यों माथा पंछी हंगामा क्यों अल्फा बीटा गामा से अब हम बोले हेलो हाय ब्रो चलो बुलझे इक्वेशन मस्ती में सुलझाते हैं जितना पाना है उससे थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा चाहते हैं आसमां में रखा क्या जरा आगे जाते हैं अब पढ़े सिर्फ एक्स्ट्रा मार्क्स से, जिस पर है 10,000 से ज्यादा स्कूल्स का भरोसा फॉर कंप्लीट लर्निंग स्कूल से घर तक। अब पढ़ाई के लिए सिर्फ एक्स्ट्रा मार्क्स। Okay, so questions. I'm open to questions now. So
Yes, sir. So there's
So
a
I'll start with the first question, and then everybody, whoever wants, Rahul also have one question. He's the host, and everybody who else have a question, they can, switch on their cameras. Pratik, Prince is already there, and they can ask question, because as I said, that this is the most sought out, and Rectors also said that this is the most sought out sector. Okay, and you have numerous questions because you'll ask it to the placement department. Okay, you have numerous questions in your mind. You can ask any question related to anything, but related to jobs in edtech sector. Okay, so we have one question. So if I talk to you about that, in the first thing, that the hirings. Okay, I'll ask as a placement representative. So apart from sales, what are the other openings in extra marks which can be relevant to the PG team, like to the management students when they pass out?
So, Vartika, good question. So, apart from the sales division, we have hirings for MBAs in strategy, in product,
Wow.
and we also hire different in different roles in our the sales planning team or the training team as well. So these are few other roles which actually we hire for, and MBAs from different colleges. So that's there.
Okay, good. So when you talk about strategy, because see, in every, like in my like in our college, if we talk about, we have operations, we have IT. So here every IT, because we have just few days back, we have specialization, like what students which have to opt for which specialization. So the students, they wanted to opt for business analytics, which is a division what we are going to start up. So when I talk about edtech, okay, so analytics are working in edtech as well. What are the openings in analytics for PGDM fresher, or there are no openings for a management analytics fresher?
Yes, there are. So
Okay, go ahead.
I fortunately I had the analytics department, also the business analytics.
Very
So
good. So we
we
have hit the nail. Now everybody has the LinkedIn ID of Jatin sir.
so
Yeah.
yes, so what we do is that we capture requirements from different departments to actually
Mhm.
bring it onto a CRM or a different system,
Mhm.
which we or an ERP.
Ji.
So we have our in-house systems also, which are actually governed by different business analysts.
Mhm.
We have Salesforce CRM as well, which are also
Mhm.
governed by different business analysts, and
Ji.
we do hire these positions as well.
Mhm. So we have Anirudh who has asked the question, how edtech company is coping with the intense raising competitions? Okay, and how COVID has affected. I think COVID has affected perfectly to the edtech
Yeah.
industry. It was positive. That's that two industry. One were the
Yes.
pharmaceutical, and others were edtech. I think. Brief, you can talk about it. Yeah.
So rightly said, Vartika. So COVID has actually helped us to push our businesses to our next level, and I would rather say COVID is a positive thing for the business side of edtech. And actually coping with the intense raising competition. So competition is something which is there in every industry, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So be it companies like Zomato, then you have Swiggy, then you have other 10 other competitions as well. So the market is already so huge that we need competitors to actually cover the whole scale. So having competition is not a worry point. Rather, it's good for our customers. It's good for a healthy competition. It's good for healthy business. So that's all.
Okay. So Sans and the other person is okay. Sanskar is a question. Growth, what can we expect from a job at tech? Now, because from how many years, Jatin, you are in the company?
So it's been almost more than a year, near about a year.
Near
I've
about a
been
year in
in.
extra mark. Good.
Yes.
So your experience and growth, and maybe you can share others also, like the other people. Suppose if they join, I'm sure Sanskar wants to wants to ask about the individual development or individual growth plan. So if they join as sales executive or the people join as analyst executive, so what is their growth plans?
So when I talk about growth, I talk about learning first, and
Mm-hmm.
then about the salaries and designations, etc.
Sure.
So when it comes to learning, edtech actually as a sector is has become so huge that we have it's I cannot compare it to any or rather I would compare it to any
Mm-hmm.
IT sector startup
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
So because you have learnings in terms of all the sectors. We have sales, so all the business functions which are actually there in any other organization are there in edtech.
Correct.
So when it comes to learning, our whole ecosystem actually driven by Mr. Ritvik, who is the MD of the organization,
Mm-hmm.
is very I would say based on innovation, based on learning, bringing out new ideas, bringing out actually having innovative mindset is something which we really are proud about in our culture.
Mm-hmm.
So with all those ideas, having the ownership of your activities, of your roles, and
Ji.
getting and learning new things is
Uh-huh.
something which is there in every role in at Extramarks. So be it sales, be it analyst, be it developers, be it any other,
Ji.
and you actually have to continue to learn to actually grow. And once you grow, then obviously your question is answered. So yes.
Okay, so Utkarsh, I said, does sales have any limit? What, selling your sales or growing in sales?
So Utkarsh, you can unmute if you
Yeah,
want to.
correct. Okay, till then we have Prateek with us. If Prateek has any question, because in the morning only, or maybe yesterday, we were talking about analytics. So maybe he can ask some question on it. Yes, Prateek, go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. So my question is, why the image of being the in tech sector jobs in market is so bad? People say that they don't give good, they only provide the good packages, but the working culture is not so good in the ed tech sector. Why this is so?
So honestly, Pratik, I would rather say I would answer it in a different aspect.
Mhm.
A person who expects, so if I have a skill set of a developer, but I go into a sales job, I won't actually succeed in that. And then I will be discontent. I would actually not be able to perform, not be able to actually give those results which the organization is expecting, or give those skill sets which actually are expected from me. So it's a very important to actually select the role which you are made of. So once you actually graduate, or once you complete your MBA, or during your MBA, understand what are your skill points. So you might be good at developing, but don't end up in sales. You might be good at, or vice versa, you good at sales but don't go into developing. So it's very important to understand yourself and then actually go in for a job basis the profile, or apply for any job as a matter of fact. So that's there.
So,
Komal,
so you
yeah.
want to say that we should be clear about and specific about our domain knowledge. Either we are a graduate or a master's student, right, sir?
Yes, very important to understand yourself first before you actually plan your dream job.
Sure, sir. Okay.
So Komal has one question. What can we do to stay up to date on technical knowledge?
Okay.
So this is important, PGDM students. So while they pursue their diploma in management in these 2 years, or 1.5 years probably, so be like, what all they need to have that technical expertise, because everybody is talking about AI, machine learning, and so many things in AI, so many things in digitization. Okay, so what do you expect from a PGDM fresh graduate? Either you are hiring for IT or specialization strategic role analyst, because he is not a BTech. Okay, so maybe he's a BBA and PGDM. Maybe he is a BCom and PGDM. So we have BTech student, but suppose he's mechanical engineer, and then he ends up for a sales job because he took up marketing. But he's good with the strategy. What all IT skills is required? Specifications. I think this is what Komal wants to say.
So when I talk about technical or IT skills, I would rather focus on skills which are running on the market. So as Dr. Vartika, you rightly said, AI, ML, and these are hot burning topics which are so now businesses actually, earlier what used to happen, that IT was a part of a business, but now it is an edge of a business. So you actually change the whole delivery mechanism, you change the whole the aspect of how you do business by technology.
Ji.
So it's very important to understand the running technologies which are going in and how they are being used. So when I talk about an MBA mindset, or what we expect from a person who has done his maybe BBA or mechanical engineering or any other BTech or any graduation, any other field, we expect him to be very much aware about how the technology is being used in different industries. We don't expect him to be actually start coding AI algorithm. We expect him to actually understand, okay, if we have a chatbot for all the customers, it will actually help to reduce the queries by 50% and won't require human intervention. We would expect him to have different use cases to understand that, by this technology, we can actually save on this mechanism. So understanding the application of technologies is very important. But you don't we from an MBA, nobody would actually expect you to code or actually write something in terms on the sides of coding part. So that's application is something which
application is important. Yes, very good. Prince, you raised hand, you had a question. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm audible.
Yes.
Anji beta.
Sir, the mathematics is one of the subjects in which many of the students are face a difficulty. So according to the extra mark, like what are the steps you have taken in order to make the mathematics more fun so the student can easily get the topics or whatever you have teach it?
Right. Thanks a lot for your question. So basically, so it's not limited to maths. I would actually have it throughout the whole, all the subjects. So when you learn about algorithm, maybe Pythagoras theorem, as simple as that. So when you learn about it, you actually learn the formula itself or the equation itself. You're like, acha, theek hai, trigo ho gaya, Cisco, sine, cos, etc. You actually learn ki मुझे ये अच्छा मतलब मैं ये फॉर्मूला लगाऊंगा so this will be the output etc. But where do I use it is something people don't relate to. And this is where extra marks has come in to actually make that very interactive. So when I tell you that, okay, for a Pythagoras theorem, I tell you, okay, this is the application for it, then you can actually relate it in your real life, and then you won't forget it throughout your life. Similarly for sine, cos, and trigo, or any other subject or any other topic in maths. So when you understand, okay, sine is actually used in trajectories of missiles, or trigo is actually used in the trajectory of different rockets, you can actually understand, okay, acha yahan pe jab main sine lagata hu to this happens, and this is why I actually divide this factor to actually get an answer. So when you go into the integrities or applications of things, you will be able to remember it for a very long time. And this is how we actually go about making education easier for students. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Rahul. Okay, Priya also have questions. So after Rahul, Priya can ask question. Yes, Rahul, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, am I audible?
Yes.
Sir, as you have worked in Honda Cars India Limited, so now you have come to Extramark. So what is the change in the culture in both of the as you have changed? What is the culture in the change of the culture in the organization like Extramarks? What is your experience in the journey you have changed through another? Is it similar or it is just different from each other in the working culture?
So yes, it is a bit different. I would say there are both pros and cons on both the sides. But my previous organization was, I would say, a more traditional or a process-centric organization, wherein a person is, I would say, well safe if he's in those processes and actually follows those processes. And whereas on in the current organization Extramarks, so we have a culture of a startup. So a startup culture is something which is very different from a corporate culture. When I talk about different, there it is more related to innovation at the individual contributor level as well. And those innovation directly impacting into the product actually gives a lot of ownership to your whole role. So there are pros and cons in both the organizations, but yes, uh, the culture, totally a corporate culture versus a startup culture, is totally contrasting things when it comes to two organizations.
Okay, so we'll come back to the career prospects. And anybody else wants to ask question? Okay.
Yes, I have a
Yes,
question.
ma'am.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'll
Yeah.
just introduce you. You were I just missed on it. So he is heading the placements here, Jatinji. He is Mr.
Sure.
Farman, and he's guiding us, me and Vinita, for having good placements. And because of him, our students, like almost the pass out batch is placed. We are just left out with 15 placed. So he's a senior person with us. Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Hi, Mr. Farman. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, Mr. Jatin. It was, your inputs are really great. It is going to help us because I have one very realistic question, because in the first slide I was looking at, currently the tech industry, it is 3 billion, and in next 3 years, next 10 years, it is going to be 30 billion. So the right time into the industry is, get into the industry, when it is growing. I remember, like even e-commerce industries, when it was the beginning of Flipkart and Amazon, and people, they were trying to get into it, and then 5 years, they'll spend the time, and then maybe they'll earn rest of their lives. So I think this is one very important input which you have given to the students. My question is, the participations generally of the students in the tech sector, it is low. Like suppose, it is a very realistic questions. Like suppose in case if I have a package from a tech company, maybe it is around 10 lakhs, and I have another company which is offering 5 lakh, right? So in the 5 lakh, the company which is offering, there we have more participation than the package of 10 lakhs. Now, what generally the students they talk about, or the perceptions they have, is their perception is, their sales targets are very high, right? So and they are not stable with the company. This is what I don't believe in. We keep on counseling, and Dr. Vartika also, we keep on having a lot of discussions with the students, because we had upgrade, we floated by Jews, and then my people, they are already working with extra marks, and they are happy people. There are two candidates at current, they are working, and they are happy people. So, in respect to the responsibilities and targets, I just wanted more clarity from the students' point of view, so they understand and they grow with the tech sector, and maybe it is a growing time, so they get into the tech, and then they make they have good growth in the coming life. So that's what I would like to ask, on the sales and targets.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Mr. Farman, for the question. So, going into the integrities would be really difficult about the targets, but yes, I would like to reiterate my point, which I gave just some time back. So, uh, choosing the right profile for a student is very important. If he's good at sales, go for it, and I'm sure he will be able to achieve those targets, because we have plenty of so we have awards and recognitions every month for basis the sales happening, and many lot of people are actually on the leaderboards and are making those numbers and actually converting and getting those numbers. So numbers are not unrealistic. If one person can do it, or maybe some set of people can do it, I believe that it is achievable. That means, now when I come to having the right skill set, so if you train yourself, or if you actually improve every day, you can go to those numbers. So again, I will reiterate. So understanding yourself, understanding the skills which you have, understanding what you love is something very important, and then choosing the right organization. I would not say go for Extramarks or go for Byju's. Rather, this is general for everything. If you have interest in systems, in IT systems, go for business and openings on business analyst. If you have interest in sales, if you have good communication skills and all those skills which I just shared in the deck, go for a sales profile in EdTech or any other organization which you are going for, and then accordingly reshape or shape your career when you enter that organization. So I rather feel that you might feel your skill is something, but actually when you go into that field, you realize that you actually have a different skill set, or are really good at something else when you actually see the corporate environment and see different profiles. So that is something which is something very important, I feel, before choosing an organization or a role.
So it is same like any other sector, sales in any other sector.
Yeah.
So that's a myth that edtech is more pressure. However, the industry is growing at a fast speed, you said. So when we see when we see the scales they are working, and we have few students, as Farman sir said, that we have few of our alumni, super seniors, who are still working with Extramarks, and not only with Extramark, with other edtech industry also.
Yes.
Okay. So here comes, I think we are done for the day. And I'm sure students have noted the points here, and I'm sure they will have something on the LinkedIn's, and maybe they'll tag you with the thing. And apart from sales, we would expect some more job roles from your side, Jatin.
Sure.
And thank you so much that on a Saturday, on an off day, you are here with us. So from JSB, and I thank you so much from the student side, from Director Sir, from faculty side, that we are now cleared actually, because the students, they say that they, as Farman said, they run away from the edtech sector. And those who are sustaining, they are sustaining and they're doing wonders where they are working. So edtech is another domain which is upcoming and having good future. And with all this, I would love to end up the session. Thank you so much, Jatin. Thank you. And hope to see you in future, because now we are open offline. Great. So, and you have your new office here near to us. Yes. So maybe at any point of time, you can, be here with the students and talk to them.
Sure, 101%. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.